Jake
Nicky Billou
Giffin
today. He's helped
Podcast.
entrepreneurs make millions, written 11 books, 2 of which are New York Times bestsellers, dropped 58 pounds. You look great, dude.
Thanks, man.
He's hosted over 900 podcast episodes. So basically, you're more productive than most people before breakfast than most people are all year long. Welcome to the Jake Giffin Podcast, bro.
Jake, man, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely, man. You left Iran during a period of kind of massive political upheaval. For those who don't know, what kind of government was Iran when you left, and kind of what was the motivation for bailing?
Well, like you said, I'm originally an immigrant from the Middle East. I'm a Christian from Iran. Iran was an idyllic place. It was the Switzerland of the Middle East. It was a nation on its way up. It was led by His Imperial Majesty Shahanshah Mohammed Reza Shah Pahlavi, excuse me, who was a forward-thinking great leader. This is a man who, well into his 50s, was athletic, in great shape. He spoke 4 languages fluently. He'd go do interviews on 60 Minutes in English, on Le Monde French TV in French.
Yeah,
Brother was a savage, and he's the one who led Iran and OPEC during the 70s from being like a middle-of-the-road country to like rising. And his vision was to have Iran be in the top 5 countries in the world. And it was a vision that he was ready to make happen.
Yeah.
He made some enemies.
As the good ones do.
You know, and unfortunately, some of the people that were in charge of the government of the United States at the time, the late President James Earl Carter, also known as Jimmy, started saying, oh, well, the Shah is a little bit authoritarian and we don't like him and all of that jazz. And so the revolution took place. There was gun battles in the streets. Carter did not support the Shah the way that President Nixon and President Ford did prior to him. And if you go on YouTube and look at Nixon's opinion on the Shah, and Nixon is probably the best, smartest foreign policy president America has had in the last 150 years, you know, followed closely by Reagan and then Trump. He'll tell you what kind of man, what kind of leader he was and what he was doing for Iran and for peace in the Middle East. And ever since Iran fell into the hands of the Ayatollahs, who are not even Persians, they're actually Arabs. If you think about that, that should tell you everything. The Middle East has been unstable, full of wars, terrorism, blah, blah, blah. Now, in my life, there's gun battles going on in the streets near my home.
Yeah.
Mom and dad are like taking a look going, gun battles in the streets in a residential neighborhood. We're not digging this. And then one day, during the middle of the day, Jake, some sails through our living room window, smashes the glass, and lands on the ground and rolls right next to my feet. And I'm an 11-year-old kid. I'm staring at it, and I'm like, what the heck is this? I don't do anything. My father, his eyes go like this. He leaps at me, and he grabs it, and it's a bottle with a wick in it that's burning, and it's full of liquid, a Molotov. And Dad pulls out the wick before it can explode. Okay.
Good dad.
And, you know, my dad was an absolute savage, bro. Napoleon Billou, man. So, and then he turns it around and there's a note taped to the bottle. And on the note, it says in Farsi, die, Christian scum. So I'm a kid. I didn't know what the hell. But my father and my mother, they're like, can you, Jake, I don't know if you have children, assuming you may have some children. Right?
I have one.
Can you imagine being frightened for your child, frightened to death? Imagine that you believe your child's life is at risk simply by living in the neighborhood you live in. You do anything. My father and mother made a plan. They got us out of Iran. It took them 2 years. They took us to Athens, Greece. It took them 2 more years to get us from Greece to where I now live, Toronto, Canada. Now, you got to get, I'm a kid, right? I'm 11 when it starts. I'm 15 by the time we're in Canada. And I'm like, I don't want to leave my home or my friends. Mom, Dad, why the hell are we here? You can, I'm sure, appreciate that from your own point of view and your kids' point of view. So you have a daughter. So, you know, teenager, young kid.
No, she's 22.
She's 22. So you went through the teenage years. I'm sure you know what it's like when a kid does not understand the decisions you're making on her behalf that are for her own good.
Yeah.
Right. So time goes on, though, and I start to appreciate living in a free, society.
Hmm.
And I also start to appreciate the awesome nobility of my mom and dad's sacrifice.
Yeah.
They left behind everything and everyone they knew and were familiar with to step into the bold unknown for a chance at a better life for
Wow.
me and my two brothers.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you,
Great.
man, I am in awe of my mom and dad,
Yeah.
in awe of these unbelievable, loving, kind,
Yeah.
savage.
That's
human.
amazing. That now, what did Iran have was there a government structure? I mean, it was socialist. It wasn't democratic. What did it have a form, or is it just after the man that you mentioned?
After Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was overthrown,
Uh-huh.
the Islamic Republic was soon instated. They went after members of the old regime. They arrested them and shot them with sham trials.
Mm.
And it became a very dark place.
It's an authoritarian type of leadership.
Totalitarian.
And the reason I bring this up, because we're going to talk about business and we're going to talk about sales and things that are important, but it's like what I love about guys like you that go to Canada, come to the States, that are uber successful, clearly 11 books, 2 on the New York Times bestseller. I mean, you've done so much in your life. And I'm looking around, not necessarily the young men that listen to this particular podcast, but there's this kind of tension that they're not accomplishing. A lot of them aren't accomplishing much. They're not busy doing important work. Some of them, not some of them, are, especially in today's culture, thinking about socialism, and they're thinking about communism, and they're thinking about all these different forms of government that they think would be better. And I think just having your background in Iran is like, that's gold, man. Like, I mean, none of them have had Molotov cocktails thrown through their windows.
Good.
Some of them, depending on the neighborhoods around here, some of them have grown up with gunshots and bullets flying through the streets. Sure. But not Molotovs, not grenades, nothing like heavy armory, simply because they're Christian. Right? That's like so we haven't noticed that, we haven't known that type of persecution. And it's nice for the young men that listen to this podcast to understand that around the world, life isn't like what we experience in Canada and in the United States. And it's important to identify that. Thank you for sharing that, man. Your parents, absolute savages. But, when you're a parent, you kind of understand, right? It's like, you kind of get it. Like, this is my kids. I didn't even know what love was until I had a kid. I'd do anything for my daughter, as your parents did for you. And you're in Canada currently, huh?
Yeah, I live in Toronto.
And that's kind of where you laid down roots, and that's where you've had all the success in writing your books. I thought it was interesting because you wrote a book called Kathy Capitalist and Johnny Jobmaker.
Yeah.
It's a children's book.
It is. So about 16 years ago, my then wife, seemingly out of the blue, decided she didn't want to be married to me anymore.
Okay.
Maybe I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. Anyways, I tried to reconcile. She was not interested at the time, but she did work with me to, not turn it into this long, horrible, dragged out war. And one of the things that I said to myself, I have 2 sons. They were really little at the time. And I said, these boys are not going to become statistics, because the statistics of children from broken homes is horrible.
Yeah.
Are horrible. And flash forward to 2025, today, like over a decade later, my one boy is 19, my other boy is 17. Now, I know a lot of successful people out there who have sons who are lost, who are playing video games in the basement, or even if they've got jobs, they're just lost. They don't know what to be, who to be. They don't have that inner savage.
Yeah.
Celebrated and encouraged within them. My sons, my 17-year-old entering grade 12. He's got a business going on this summer, detailing cars in a neighborhood here in Toronto. He's had a couple employees. He plays hockey and soccer at a high level. Now he's a teenager, but he's not, he's a savage.
Yeah.
My 19-year-old finished school, was going to go to university, all set, then got a job working for the guy who helped me in the last 2.5 years get in super good shape. He's one of his fitness coaches. He wakes up at 4 a.m. Monday through Friday to be in the gym at 5 to train people. 15 hours a day he works Monday through Friday. And on Saturdays and Sundays, he sleeps in till 5 a.m. and works only 10 hours a day. 19. He's a freaking unicorn. And he's making money. He's growing his business. He invests in stocks. He doesn't drink. He works. He wrestles. He lifts weights.
Yeah.
The younger boy looks up to his older brother, and they're both absolute savages. Now, people go to me, wow, how come your sons launched well? They turned out good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got an answer for them. They're good boys, but they had me as their father.
Yeah, you're a savage yourself.
Me as their father. I am, but I train these boys. Like I took them to sports. I took them places to like spend time with me. I pushed them.
Yeah.
And from time to time, my boys and I sit and we have this chat, and I go, and I ask them, what do you like about your brother? What do you like about your father? And my older boy, a few years ago, we were in the car, and I said, so what do you like about your dad? He said, I wasn't sure if I wanted to tell you this, but I like that you're hard on me. And like, wow. Jake, that was a proud father moment.
Yeah, of course.
I like that you're hard on me. And if you got folks listening to this episode and they're fathers and they've got sons, and especially if they have sons who haven't launched properly, I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Because I know a thing or two about what it takes. You can't baby these boys. You got to treat them like men. Even when they're boys, you got to start treating them like men in training.
Yep.
They're men in training. They're not boys. They're men in training. Right. And so number one is you got to invest time in them, because a lot of successful men, they just don't. That's the facts.
Yeah.
And secondly, you got to be hard on them. If their mom likes it or doesn't like it, that doesn't matter. Her role is not your role. Her role is to like nurture them, love them, make sure they don't ever get hurt. Your role is to make sure they don't get hurt too much.
Too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
They
Your
got
role
to
is to make sure they don't die.
Right. They got to get hurt a little bit. Yeah. And your role is to absolutely challenge them and turn them into savages. There's a reason that my boys are savage sons, and there's a reason so many men aren't. Yeah, I'm patting myself on the back a little bit, but I'm also here to tell you we can help you get your boys properly launched so they go out there in the world and they do business and they sell and they're attractive to women. And both my boys, they're way more savage with women than I ever was. I mean, girls these boys attract girls, the older one especially. It's just crazy. Yeah. But they're going to be the kind of young men, your sons, if you are invested in their lives and you take action to make sure that you push them. You got to put them into certain environments. You got to spend time with them. You got to pour into them, and you got to be hard on them.
Well, let's talk about environments though, because we're talking. So if you have young boys, and let's face it, I don't know how to label the generations, X, Y, Z, whatever.
Gen Z. They're Gen Z right now.
Yeah, the ones that got the trophies for showing up in the all that nonsense.
I told my kids they don't get to keep those trophies.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly
trophies. You didn't win anything. You just showed up. Don't be proud of that.
Right. Don't be okay. Yeah. So that's the advice, right? So if you have boys and they're getting participation trophies, I think generally men like it when the standards are set high and when people hold us to those standards.
Yes, sir, they do.
We like it. We're expectation machines. Like I want, if I serve under you, I want to exceed your expectations. I want to do well. That's the male DNA. And maybe for a lot of men that don't have that DNA, maybe they have too much estrogen, or maybe they're eating too much soy, whatever it is, they can get it. So, or
Yeah, I also make sure my kids eat steak
there it
and
is.
beef.
So
They're
feed your
not
boys,
vegetarian.
feed your boys steak. Like what else? So you have high standards for your boys. You feed them steak. You take them out hunting.
Got them involved in team sports.
Okay.
Because they're forced to learn how to cooperate with others. They get socialized in team sports. And secondarily, if they're with a good coach, they're going to be forced to work on themselves to improve. Like the coach is going to show them where is a technical term in the personal growth field.
That is totally technical.
It's very technical. And then he will force them to get better. So my oldest boy played soccer, and he was good enough that his coach thought he could go pro. Now, he chose not to my eternal regret. I wish he had, but he didn't want to. But when he played, he was appointed captain of his school soccer team. And he led his school to the first soccer championship for their group of schools that they were a part of in 24 years, first in 24 years. And he played with another soccer team, which was higher level and basically a prep to get boys to higher level soccer, potentially even pro. And he was appointed captain of that, full-time captain of that team, because there was rotating captains for a while. Again, because he showed those types of leadership qualities, that type of strength. And sports will bring that out in you.
Yeah.
And both my boys have played sports. The younger one plays hockey and soccer, which is a little crazy to do both at the same time at a relatively high level.
They got to be in great shape, though.
They're in savage shape. And if you go on Instagram and look on my feed, you'll see some photos of me with them.
We'll put the link in there.
Yeah, these boys are absolute studs.
So what happens if you get a coach that, though? I mean, do you pull them off the team, or do you have to do a little extra supplemental work with them off site?
Well, none of the coaches my kids have been they've been different quality. My son's soccer coach, my older boy's soccer coach, is the best coach I've experienced, but he's got some decent coaches right now, my younger boy as well. And the main thing is I want him to stay on a team and learn how to push himself and deal with adversity. That's really where it's at.
Yeah.
The little guy, he's not so little anymore, actually, but I still call him the little guy. He goes, for his business, he'll go out and knock on doors and ask for business.
That's because he's got you for a dad. I mean, some of the books you've written,
go, man.
You know, he's probably read he's read your books.
God, if if my boys had read my books, I'd be thrilled. I don't know if they have. I should ask them. But I'm very proud of the younger boy. The younger boy is way better with people than the older boy, and way more like fearless about marketing and sales. That's a cool set of skills that he's developed for himself. Yeah. And if there's young men listening to this, if you weren't in team sports and you're a young man now, go join a team. Maybe you're not going to go pro, but so what? It's going to force you to learn how to work in cooperation with other people. That's going to get you in better shape, right? Community, exactly. And you'll have a lot of fun.
You can join a community team or your church softball team or something that's going on if you
whatever. Yeah, it matters that you do it. And then secondarily, join a men's organization. Like I run a men's organization. In addition to my business work, I run a men's organization called Sovereign Man. Okay. Sovereignman.ca is the website. Join a group like that. Be around other men to mentor you. If you didn't have your father do that, well, get other men to help mentor you right now.
Yeah.
And if you're a father with sons, they'll be strong men. Our group's full of strong men, great men.
Yeah.
But there's other groups. You know what I mean? We meet over Zoom. There's some people who don't want to meet on Zoom. They want to meet in person. So go find an in-person group if that's you. But if you're good with meeting on Zoom, twice a month for an hour and a quarter are the meetings. Half an hour a week, our buddy calls you do with buddies. And we want you to do a little bit of work on yourself. So basically your total commitment per month is 7 hours a month to work on yourself as a man. And if you are halfway ambitious, man, you should be like excited to put in that time, excited to put in that work.
Halfway ambitious. If you're 50% ambitious, you should be joining that group. If you're less than 50% ambitious, then you need to figure out
I got nothing for you.
It's a dietary issue. You got to join a fight club, do something to get the testosterone.
Yeah, you do. But this is it. Like Boys need to be around fathers that push them and around other men that push them what their fathers can't do. Now, if you're a father
Yeah.
to son, young sons, here's 5-step plan for success with your son. Be involved and spend time with your son. There's no substitute for that.
Mhm.
No substitute. You got to spend time with him and actually pay attention and care about the things your son cares about.
Yep.
Secondly, involve your son in team sports, especially when they're young. There's no exception to this. I don't care if they don't like it. I don't care what they say. They're going to do it because you said so. You're their dad. You're not a suggester. You're their father. You're going to tell them what to do. Get them involved in team sports with a good team so they can learn about socialization, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Third thing to do is be hard on them, push them. Don't be soft on them. One of the guests on my men's podcast is the great Greg Medford of Medford Knife and Tool. Medford Knife and Tool, they make some unbelievably knives. And Greg Medford said to me one day, there's this quote that he came up with himself. He's quite an intelligent and erudite man. And he said, run, young man, from the soft embrace of your mother, and run, young man, to the hard hand of your father.
Mm-hmm.
Like every man should like tattoo that on their forehead, right? And as a father, that's your job. Be hard on your darn son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And 4, be a good example to your son. Don't be a soft ass yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're fat, stop being fat because your kids will get fat.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is to be fit for your sons. Okay. For your sons, not to be some fat. So be the example. Go out there and push yourself in your career or in your business or with your hobbies, man. Show your boys by example. Boom. And if you're still with their mom, treat their mom, like you're a queen. So they learn how to treat women.
Yes.
And if you're not with their mom, you're with someone else, treat that other woman well. And if you're not with their mom, still, no matter how horrible their mom is to you, no matter, I don't care what she's done. She may have tried to throw your ass in jail forever. She may have lied to throw your ass in jail.
Yeah.
When you talk about her to your sons, what you will say to them is, this is your mother. She gave you life.
Yeah.
You will respect and honor her. Regardless of her and I, you will love, respect, and honor her.
Yep.
Your mom.
Yeah.
This is Nicky Billou's 5-step plan to raise savage sons.
Right. That's what you should. Is that the name of your next book? Savage Sons. A great name for a book. Yes. Savage Sons. You could write 5 chapters. You could do 5 chapters on that easy.
I could totally do that.
Savage Sons. Just the name alone will take you. It'll be your 3rd book on the New York Times bestseller list. Just the name alone, assuming nobody's used it yet, I suppose. But it's Savage Sons. I think we're the only society. I don't know about Canada, as far as I know, but America, let's say North America. I think that's Canada and America. We're I think one of the only civilizations that don't have like some kind of rite of passage for young men, right? There's no way of knowing. They go from some civilizations, they go from boy, they go out into the wilderness. If they come back alive, then they're a man. Like they have adversity.
Yeah, that's ancient Sparta.
Yeah. That's like, I had thought about years ago when all the generations were getting super soft, I thought I need to start an adversity camp where we take kids in by the week, respectfully, legally, put them through some adversity training, like really put them in awkward, uncomfortable situations and push, because that's the way you grow, right? It's like your younger son is going door to door. It's teaching salespeople to go door to door, to do prospecting, to do that kind of thing is super hard. Nope. It's not a lot of people want to do that. Not a lot of people want to make cold calls. Yeah. Well, look,
they don't want to do what's tough.
They don't want to do what's tough. Right. And so, but by doing it and by facing it on purpose, you build that muscle like your boys are doing. And that you get better at it. And you learn that it's not a big deal. You just go knock on the door and you talk to another human being about whether or not they need help washing their car or mowing their lawn or whatever else it is. So it's just, people need to learn that it's just because it's hard all the more reason you should face it intentionally before it imposes itself on you.
Amen, brother.
So
Amen.
that's the hardest part about our generation today. It's like I talk to a lot of fitness people on the podcast, especially lately, and specifically from a Christian perspective. And it's like, why are Christian men fat? Well, Christian men are fat, and people have heard me say this 100 times. Christian men are fat because there's no savages beating down the gates of the village trying to rape and kill their children. Right? Because if there was imminent danger all around, you can bet that most of these guys who are 350, 400 pounds would not be 400 pounds, or they'd be dead.
Yeah, they'd be the first one slaughtered.
Yeah, they'd be the first one slaughtered.
Yeah.
But at the sight of impending doom, real men tend to say, well, instead of eating the Twinkie, I think I'm going to go to the gym in case something bad happens. I'm prepared for it.
Amen, brother.
What do you think? You've had a big sales career. You've written sales books. You've done all kinds of business stuff, man. You've been super. There's no wonder why your kids are so in it, man. They're like, you could write a book just on being a father. Savage Sons. I think you should take that Savage Sons, dude. Do it. Because I would read that.
I wrote it down, brother. I wrote it down.
I don't have sons, but I think some level of that applies towards daughters too. It's like you got to be a little hard on them, not as hard as you would on boys.
You can't treat girls like you treat boys. That's a bad idea.
you can't, but you want to be the type of man that they would want to marry. Somebody who
yes,
right?
100%. That is true. But girls will not react well to being treated like boys.
No. And, I wouldn't do it. But what do you think, given your sales background? I know you wrote Priceless Guide for Insurance Agents, Sales Professionals, and Anyone in Big Dream. So anybody
that's How to Create $1 Million a Year Income. That's that's the name of that book.
How to Create $1 Million a Year Income. And this is, I think it's probably going to be a good book for anybody who's getting into sales. But given your sales background, what do you think the impact has been with review sites like Yelp on the culture of sales before and after Yelp?
Look, those types of sites can make and break you, right? Like if you're an honest, good person, you're going to get reasonably good reviews. And if you're not, you're going to get exposed pretty darn quick. So that's the truth. And, one of my mentors, Mark Von Musser, used to be Tony Robbins' director of sales training and coaching, said to me, the buyer has evolved. No longer is traditional cold seduction sales techniques like high pressure, full of brush salesmen don't work no more, man.
No.
People are not interested in being pushed, pressured, manipulated into selling. They're looking for authenticity. They're looking for truth. Authenticity, trust, they're the new currency. Okay. That is what it's all about, right? So people that are successful today understand they have to sell, but they also understand they got to make the sale about the other person, not themselves. A lot of people get nervous about selling because they're thinking about themselves. Oh, what if they don't like me? What if they don't want to do business with me? That's all on you.
Yeah.
What you should be thinking about is what if I'm the person to save this guy out of suffering?
Yep.
What if that's me?
Yep.
What if I'm the person to crack open the shell they built around their hearts and their souls?
Yep.
What if I'm there to inspire them to be the best version of themselves? What if the attention's on them, they're going to feel it. And you're going to feel good. If the attention's on you, then you're not. So I had a client. Interesting you mentioned fitness because he was a fitness coach. And God, this was 10 years ago. He was introduced to me and he was good trainer, sucked at sales. Suck again being a technical term.
Yeah.
In this context. He had $1,200 a month in income on a good month.
Ooh.
In Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Toronto in Canada is our New York City. It's the largest, biggest center of the financial universe. There's like 5.5 million people that live there. It's the fourth largest city in North America after New York, Los Angeles, and Houston. We're bigger than Chicago. Okay. So think about how much money would you need to live in New York, LA, Chicago, Houston?
Yep.
Do you think it's $1,200 a month, or you think it's a little more than that? Right?
No, it's a
Yeah.
lot more
Yeah.
than now today. Yeah, a lot more than that.
Yeah, a lot more. So Danny had 7 clients. Now he was a good dude. Like, Jake, if your daughter didn't have a boyfriend,
Mhm.
you tell her, go out on a date with Dan.
Oh,
That's how good a dude he was.
Yeah.
You'd go, those losers you're dating, get rid of them. Just go on a date with him. He's a good guy. He's respectful. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like, he's that kind of dude, right? And he was positive, always helpful. Like, if he saw an old lady struggling with groceries, he'd drop everything he had to go grab the grocery. Like, that's the kind of dude he was. Like,
Yeah,
that's
good
what I'm
dude.
saying. You saw him operate for a week. You just go, daughter, you're not allowed to date those guys anymore.
Yeah.
Danny, it's your guy, right?
Except he's broke.
Yeah, except he's broke, except for that part. But like, the way he would treat her would make
Yeah.
you go, I want that kind of man in my daughter's life.
Yeah, for sure.
I want that kind of man in my daughter's life, right?
Yep.
And so Dan is coming to see me because I helped a buddy of his make money. And he said, here you're good at helping people make money, make sales. He says, I said, yeah, I am. He said, can you help me? I said, sure. And so we started to talk, and I did an intake form with him. And one of the questions I ask is, who do you help? Who's your ideal client? Well, his answer wasn't a great answer. He said, I can help anybody with any fitness problem.
Uh-oh.
I can help them lose weight. I can help them add muscle. And I said, Danny, that is why you're only making $1,200 a month. You're trying to be all things to all people, so you're nothing to nobody.
Yep.
Oh, he's going, so what should I do? I said, well, let's niche down, brother, or niche down. Right? He goes, so how do I do that? And I said, well, think of the kind of person you want to help, like narrow the focus. He said, okay, weight loss. I'm like, okay, weight loss is good. He says, doctors. I'm like, what?
Doctors.
Where the hell did that come from? My dad loved my dad. He's the best man. I'm like, wow, that's really nice. He said, plus, don't doctors make a lot of money? They make a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, Danny, they do, but that's, not a reason to choose that niche.
yeah.
It can be, a nice bonus, but the money, the doctor's dad money going. Now in 2 months, he got like maybe 2 clients.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Danny, we need to pivot. He goes, right, you want me to niche down, niche. Yeah, I got it.
Wow.
They make more money than doctors. And they help people's hearts heal. Like, this is the best. And I'm like, Danny, like those are, he said, I'm doing this. Nothing. He got nothing in 2 months. No new clients.
No.
But God is good. God did send him a new client.
Nice.
A Paralympian, Papito Wilson, who lost his left leg, I believe, in a childhood accident. Now, Danny and Papito, they got together like peas and carrots, man. It worked. And while Danny was working with Papito, Papito won some medals at major international global championships.
Wow.
So Danny comes to me, this good fellow, and he said, Nicky, man, I owe you an apology. And I'm like, what for? What you do? He said, you've been coaching me, you've been pouring into me, you've been loving me, and I just didn't pay attention to what you were saying. I am so sorry. You were right. I was just trying to figure it out with the money, and I was wrong. I should have listened to you. And I said, Danny, yeah, you should have. He said, well, Nicky, I'm not going to go after the money anymore. I said, that's great. He said, but you know what I want to do, Nicky? I want to help people with missing limbs. He said, I've been working with Papito, and I know how to help people with missing limbs get in shape.
Wow.
And brother, the moment he said this, I felt like God had touched him with his hand.
Yeah.
And touched me to know the truth of what he was saying. Because it was an instant click and connection that, yes, this is right and good and correct and loving and trustworthy. So Danny, we helped him put some messaging together. Now, remember, he was only making $1,200 a month on a good month, okay? On a
Yeah.
good month.
Yeah.
And he had 7 clients. And that was a lot for Danny, 7 clients, right? And he was undercharging like mad.
It's like 2 a week or something, less than 2 a week.
Dude, horrible. 7 total clients. It's horrible.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah. All of a sudden, the floodgates open, and in 6 weeks, he signed up 400 clients with no marketing spent, not a dime spent on any sort of marketing. This will all came from his putting his message together with my help and word of mouth. And he came to me after his 35th client and said, yo, I can't do one-on-one coaching anymore.
No.
What do we do here? And we
groups.
created an online group coaching hybrid model. His monthly income was well over $100,000, like run rate. So he's making over $1 million. Now, this is before online coaching became a thing, right? Then nobody did it. Like there was maybe 1 or 2 guys that were doing it. And by not focusing on the money, Danny made an unbelievable amount of money because he helped an unbelievable amount of people.
Yeah.
And everybody else who was in the training space was saying, hey, why are you going after these people with missing limbs? They can't train. They can't work out. You're wasting your time. So nobody else went after him. It was a blue ocean strategy.
Yeah. Just
and put yourself in the shoes of these folks with missing limbs, bro.
Yeah.
A person with a missing limb probably does not want to have that missing limb, would prefer that they have all their limbs.
Yeah. Given the choice.
Given the choice. And probably they have some level, most of them, of resentment, unhappiness, upset with their situation that they find themselves in.
Yep.
You know, they feel at some level less than.
Right.
At some level. I'm not saying this is everybody, but in general, many people in that community feel that way. And Dan's message wasn't, hey, I'm going to work you out. You're going to train here. Dan's message was, I see you. I understand you. You are a worthy child of God. And I am here to tell you, to remind you, you can do anything anyone else can do. And I'm here to help you do it. I love you. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that these people in the community of folks with missing limbs had never had an authentic, heart-driven message like this in a sales situation given to them, which is why 400 of them
400
in 6 weeks signed up with this man. And took him and his business from tragic to magic, from $1,000, $1,200 a month to $100,000 plus a month.
Wow. That's
okay. And as we land the plane on this episode of yours, and someone's listening, and you're wondering, how can I create for myself what Danny created for himself? First and foremost, lead with love and who you care about and who you want to make a difference for, and not how badly you need the business. Lead with love. Secondly, make a decision and a commitment that you will serve and you will put yourself out there no matter what. And thirdly, don't try to do this alone. Get expert help like you, like me, to guide you, because you may figure it out on your own. But the reason you hire expert mentors is because they'll give you a shortcut. That is worth the money.
Yep. It takes 6 years.
And then again, you may also not figure it out on your own. So with some help, for sure. And that, my friend, is Nicky Billou's mic drop.
In just a short time, 15 minutes, we've learned how to raise sons and how to position yourself in an ever-changing marketplace of sales by putting people first and serving people. That puts a bow on that perfectly, because I think in a sales environment, it is about loving people and putting them first and making them the center of focus. It's no longer that, that gold chain and the hair sticking out where you're hard closing everything all the time. It's just, that still works sometimes on some of the older generation, but man, you're at a loss if you're trying to close people these days with those old skills. So thanks for that, man. I really appreciate the insight into doing that. And if you're in fitness or you're in anything like that, that's a good tip for anybody that's in the service industry. And if they need help from you, where can they reach you?
I offer something called a success call for free to serious men and women.
Yep.
And it's 45 minutes of my time, no strings attached, to dive deep into whatever's on your mind, whatever's ailing you, be it business, be it you just want to talk to somebody because you need to feel heard, you need to feel seen, and you need to feel encouraged. And that is what I offer. And go to eCircleAcademy.com/appointment.
Yep. And we'll put all those in the show notes. And hope to talk to you again soon, Nicky. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, brother. It's an honor. Thanks for having me on the show.
Sure.
If you enjoyed this show, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. For more information about Jake, log on to JakeGiffin.com and find him on all social media platforms. Until next time, peace and power be yours.